Hello, my name's Aronzo, and you're watching the last episode of Patriot program in 2025. And before we get started, I'd like to say a few things. For starters, thank you all for watching all of these. This has always been something I've wanted to do ever since I was a freshman. I always want to have like a school news site or channel, and we just never had one of those. And I felt like that's something the school is missing with this, everything that ends up going on. You know, a lot of misinformation gets spread about things, and I feel like I got to use this platform to really spread the right information and make sure everyone was on the same page with events. Now, with that being said, I feel like this could be turned into a club in the following years. Like I said, it brings awareness to certain events, it brings everyone together. On top of that, it just brings out student opinions, talk about all sorts of topics, right? Now, that's not up to you for this to become a club. That's up to you, the future class. But we have those events and student opinions to talk about right now. So, without further ado, I'm not going to explain everything because we've got some pretty interesting stuff coming up. But you'll just have to wait and see and watch till the end of the video. But spoilers, there's a pretty cool guest we have coming up at the end. 30th, there were two things going on: Senior Skip Day and the Monster Party. Now, the Monster Party is when elementary kids make monsters and the high schoolers in the ceramics class make them, and then the students get to see their monsters. But of course, I'm not a ceramics teacher, so let me let the ceramics teacher explain the event.
Alright, well this is our second year doing the Monster Party. It's so fun. The elementary kids draw their own custom monsters, and then the high school kids in ceramics and sculpture have made them come to life in a 3D sculpture. And the little kids get to keep them and take them home. So we're in the middle of the fun event where the little kids came up to the high school and got to see their monsters on display and meet the high school kid who made the work, and they get to keep it.
Yo, by the way, your art, it's actually pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie.
You hope
I don't know if you know what that means, but
it's
like,
okay.
this art is really good.
It's okay. You don't like Tyler people.
You're a really good artist.
You want to take a picture? Okay, let's take a
I
picture.
draw. I'm like, you draw really good. For being in what? Like these?
You want to
it's just with clay.
take the picture?
You know what that is? Kind of like how Play-Doh, you kind of just form it, glue it on, and then you make stuff like this. That's how,
I'm glad you like it. Let me take a
that's how all
picture
these other
yours.
things that you see around you are made.
It's heavy. Where do you want to see my
And for first grade, like, you're in first grade, like, that's really good. But yeah, what made you draw this? So you drew that. Thumbs up, fist bump, down low, in the middle. Tell me about the program.
Okay, hi. So this is an annual monster party that takes place in the ceramics classrooms at the high school. A lot of people don't know that ceramics is an offered course. I want more people to know that ceramics is offered at the high school. And we do this every year with the kids, annually. That's kind of what every year means. But kids from various elementary schools will draw out monsters, and then it's up to the upperclassmen to sculpt the monsters that they create. And then we have a party towards the end of the year where we give them the monsters and give them treats and water, and it's just great.
Yep, you get your name tag and your drawing.
That's pretty much it.
You recommend ceramics?
I totally recommend ceramics. It's something I wish I took sooner. I would recommend taking it your junior year, because you can take ceramics 1 year junior year, and then you take ceramics 2 your senior year. There's no ceramics 3, so that's like how you balance it out. And you have to have a studio art credit. Oh, okay. Bob. Do you like cats? I love cats. And you want to be a doctor when you grow up? That's nice.
Kaylee, Ava, and Kaylee, we just had our monster party.
Yes,
And how
cookies
would
and
you?
water.
Yes, cookies and water was there. How would you guys rate the event? Was it good? 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Did you enjoy it? Did you like your monster?
Did you like your monster? Okay.
Yes, they loved their monster. We had a good time. Everybody.
Yeah, everybody got their monsters packed.
Great. Monsters is up ready to go and they're about to leave. So we just wanted to make a little video. And that's it.
Say bye, y'all.
Say bye.
A major event this year that has come up several times in the Patriot programs had been prom. Now, I attended prom, but I was too busy having a good time. So I decided to ask some seniors who were at prom to talk about their time there. Because there was no way I was doing interviews at prom.
Okay, hello, my name is Shalia. I went to prom this year and I am a senior. I just want to say, I didn't go 11. And honestly, I was so turned the whole time. That was like the most fun I've had in school. And so anybody who doesn't think it's not worth it, go, it's worth it. The memories was hidden.
Hi guys, my name is Ella Wall. Talk about my prom experience. I had a great time at prom. You know, DJ Ketchup did a solid job. Better than the last guy. No clue what he was doing. Food was okay, you know. Pasta was good, had all the different options. Everyone looked great. It was very hot in there. Very hot. Dress was slipping down. I was sweating. He was sweating. Very hot. And I had to change my shoes into my Crocs halfway through. Uh-oh. But yeah, I had a great time at prom. DJ was good. Food was alright. Like I said, Rocket's about to go. Oh! Anyway, I went to bowling.
Briefly.
For like 30 minutes. It was good. I had Taco Bell. I dropped my taco. I suck at bowling, so that was, you know, it was a fun experience. You know, last year was better, but yeah. Okay, thanks.
How do you feel about graduating?
Okay, prom was fun. I think that we had a good DJ, decorations were nice.
About prom, I mean, it was pretty fun. It depends, I mean, on like who you are, what you're doing, I guess. Oh, what was I doing at prom? I was enjoying myself, I guess.
Were you getting jiggy with it?
Potentially. To ask around, maybe some people might give you.
I have my fellow seniors here to talk about prom. I think it'd be a good idea for them to talk about them graduating, and possibly even impart some wisdom onto the younger generation.
Graduating this year, you know, it's bittersweet. I'm so glad to be out here going to the real world, but I'm low-key gonna miss this school and like the dance department and like all the memories I've had, including prom, because prom is so much fun. I'm just gonna keep reliving that. Yes. So that was a lot of fun senior year.
Do you have any advice for underclassmen?
I would say make sure to do all your classwork, but don't get too put into the classwork that you forget about having fun in school. Because there are a lot of other things besides, you know, getting passing grades that matter. Making friends, having fun, doing after school activities, those matter just as much as getting good grades. Yeah.
I'm excited to get the hell out of here. You know, I'm gonna miss this guy. I'm gonna miss Emma. Honorable mention. But yeah, I'm excited to get out of here. You know, explore new things, meet new people, reinvent myself. Yeah. UB. That's where I'm going.
One last thing. Any words for underclassmen?
Have fun. Fuck the people who don't like you. Just don't listen to what they say. It's not worth it. Do what you want, not what other people tell you to do. Only opinion that matters is yours. You can do anything you believe you can. The truth.
Graduating, just barely. If I had to give a piece of advice to younger classmen, I would say to do what you're supposed to do it on time. You can't regret things, you can only remember. So just live in the moment, but not too in the moment. Do what you're supposed to do what you need to do, and then everything will be okay.
Me personally, graduating, I mean, for me, it's not really, it's kind of just like a everyday type of thing. Some people, it could be like a big jump.
Bro, put some fucking emotion in it.
I do got emotion in it. I mean, graduating, it ain't that serious to me. I mean, I knew I was gonna get here. I'm not one of these thugs running around the school or nothing. So it wasn't like a challenge or anything. Sure, there were a couple setbacks with like algebra. But after I got that setback out of the way, it's a pretty easy street, I'm not gonna lie. Now for the people that find it to be a big jump, congratulations for you on graduating. But on how to get to graduating, I think you just gotta stay in school, to be honest with you. Stay in school. It sounds like a little derogatory, belittling term that most parents usually use on like non-behaving kids, but it's a fact. I mean, if you want to graduate, bro, you just gotta stay in school. Get the shit done. You're literally about to graduate, and even if you're a freshman, get it done. Set yourself up for a potential future of college, career. Set yourself up, bro. No, I'm not saying that there's shit in this school that like is beneficial, because some of the shit that we do learn here isn't really beneficial. But that doesn't mean that you can't take time out of your own like day when you're not in school to learn those things. Like there's technology all over the place. TVs, YouTube, Google, there's the internet, bro. You can learn anything you want, realistically. Like as long as you put your energy into it and you're about it 100%, then you can do what you want to do. But if you just want to graduate, just stay in school, get the credits, graduate. If you want to do something else, do whatever you want. Like look it up, learn it, and apply it after you graduate. You know what I'm saying?
On the topic of underclassmen, there are two really big changes they're going to have to go through next year. Yonder pouches and the demolition of D-Wing. But let's start with these Yonder pouches. I'm not going to go into too much detail about how they're implemented and why, because that will be tackled later, but all you need to know is that they're preventing students from accessing their phones. But how do these students feel about these Yonder pouches?
Ain't gonna lie, bro, the Yonder pouch is pretty easy, gang. I seen a TikTok, I know how to break them with a marker now, so I'm sturdy. I don't know about y'all, but y'all stay safe though with the phones. But, hey, man.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I'm 16. Why would Mr. Green put our phones in pouches? I don't like that. I know how to, I'm not gonna expose myself, but I know how to get out of them, but why do it if we all know how to break the pouches and we all still can get our phones? It just makes no sense. Because like the metal detectors, they're just useless because everybody still gets everything in. So yeah, I just feel like it's just useless. It just causes us to rebel more, I feel.
Well, the Yonder pouches, and me personally, I don't like them. Them shits just sad. They sound very non-useful. Them shits not useful at all. I don't think it's gonna work.
How aren't they useful?
Because it's gonna be even more of a distraction if you ask me.
Because they're gonna try and I don't know, I feel like it's a waste of money.
They're gonna be sitting
honestly, it's literally a waste of money.
They're gonna be sitting there trying to figure out how to get the pouches, but instead of doing work.
And it's pointless. Like they waste money on so much stuff, like the metal detectors. Yeah, I waste money on those. People still sneak in their vapes and whatever. Cool by y'all.
I'm saying the metal detectors, that shit had me blue. I was like, the metal detectors really not stopping nothing.
Neither did the lockbox. Like they waste money on stuff that it's just a mess.
I think the Yonder pouches are unnecessary. I understand the goal, but some kids cannot get in contact with their parents through the school, and the parents can't get in contact with their children through the school. It makes it much more complicated, especially when it comes to like having a hall monitor come all the way down to the gym to come and get you, or walk all the way somewhere else to come get you, especially if there's like a family emergency going on outside of school. Getting an urgent text or a call just doesn't exist. You have to wait like 5 minutes to get the information, and that defeats the purpose and meaning of it being urgent. Also, y'all don't punish people enough. That's the only problem. If y'all actually did repercussions and people were actually in trouble for using their phones, then we wouldn't need Yonder pouches.
Now, what are their thoughts on D-Wing? As I'm sure most of you know, D-Wing is the oldest part of the building, so it being the first part of the building to get renovated is probably a good start.
Personally, they need to redo the whole school. I heard heard it was underneath a swamp. Like we're built above a swamp. That's why we're sinking like 2 inches like every year or whatever.
That's
Mr.
why the
Green
grass
needs to
be
do better.
wet. That's why the grass over there by Aaron be wet. Nah, I ain't gonna lie, but taking out the whole D-wing is crazy. I'm not even gonna lie, the whole D-wing is crazy.
But of course, the construction of D-Wing doesn't just affect students.
Yeah, I mean it'll be kind of sad to see it go because it's iconic Schenectady. You know, it's been around for I don't even remember how long, but a long time. And I was pretty shocked to see that the main office and guidance and all that is going to be torn down too. I think that's probably the part that I'm sad to see go, just because that's iconic Schenectady High School, and it'll be missed. But hopefully, whatever we get to replace it will be new and improved and flow better.
And the D-Wing, fuck the D-Wing, gang. This shit is whack. Ain't gonna lie, D-Wing is terrible.
It's kind of sad. I mean, this D-Wing's been there as long as the school's been there, and my homeroom was here in 69 to 72, so yeah, kind of feels like I'm having a home destroyed.
Do you feel like it would be for the better of like the kids coming here next year?
Well, I don't exactly know what it is that they're replacing it with, so I'm just going to have to go with the flow, I guess, and see what happens.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think the timing is really bad, especially since it won't be done by the start of next school year, and they're taking away the choir and orchestra practice rooms, making it so kids have to practice, the orchestra and choir kids have to also practice in the band rooms, is honestly very disrespectful because there's not that many. There's about 5 compared to like over like 40 kids who have to practice different instruments, practice different songs, and it will cause a lot of disruption.
Now, for the Patriot program to end all Patriot programs, it is my absolute pleasure to bring to you my interview with Mr. Green. Today I'm here with probably one of the most busiest men in Schenectady High School, our principal, Mr. Green, aka Denny G.
How you doing, sir? It's a pleasure.
I'm good. How are you, Mr. Green?
I'm doing well. I love the look today, man. You always look super fresh.
Thank you, thank you. Now, today obviously I want to ask you some questions about yourself, the school, and even at the end we have a little surprise for you. But before we get into that, let's ask you some questions about yourself.
Let's do it.
I'm sure a lot of students are wanting to hear about your personal self. So for starters, we'll start with what do you like to do for fun? You know, what do you like to eat? Favorite food?
Yeah, so for fun, probably my favorite thing to escape is playing NBA 2K25 or whatever version it is that year. NBA 2K is my go-to.
You are a heavy 2K player. I remember like when I was a freshman, you were talking about like, yeah, you play 2K.
Yes.
How
yes.
long have you been like playing 2K? Is that like a...
So, I mean, we got date me now. I've been playing 2K before 2K when it was double dribble on the Atari or Nintendo. And then Live came out, so I played NBA Live. 2K came out, kind of overtook everything. So I've been playing that forever. I was a Call of Duty fan, GTA obviously. I did some WWE stuff. But I'm when it comes to video games, it's really sports. Action keeps you fun, keeps my mind off of other things. It's a way for me to unwind. And sometimes I get an opportunity to play with former graduates, and sometimes some seniors are like, I'll get on, I'll bust you up. And I'm like, what's your bill? Let's go. So that's probably what I do for fun, other than spending time with my mom, my fiance, going out to dinner, things like that. But I truly unwind and have a really fun time when I'm playing 2K.
If you could recommend a place to eat for students, like in Schenectady, what would a place be that comes to mind? Like a favorite place you have to eat?
So one of my favorite places is the Nest on State Street. They have probably the dopest chicken and waffles I've ever had, and they got a homemade hot sauce that's like honey and hot sauce. Literally every time I go there, that's what I get. Either that or the chicken wings. So that's probably my all-time favorite place at this point, but it alters, it changes up.
All right. So on a pretty unrelated note, what's your shoe size?
Do people think I got big feet?
I mean, you're a big guy, so you gotta have big feet, right?
I'm of the size 15, sneaker and shoe.
You're a size 15?
Yes, it's a big foot.
That's like...
It's a big foot. That's box size, like throw away the shoe and wear the box.
Like, that's like, average is like 11 and a half, and you're a 15.
Yeah, but I am 6'7". Right? So, I mean, I couldn't imagine having small feet at 6'7". I'd fall over.
Yeah, that would be...
The balance wouldn't be there.
That'd be insane. Do you get your shoes custom made?
No. I custom order them. I mean, I have to order them. It's hard to walk into a store and find my size. But even when I was a size 14, you just can't walk into a store and say, do you have a 14? It's usually limited. Oh, we got these two, right? So I have to be the first online to buy the Jordans because 15 sells out quick, as you can imagine.
So you talked about the Nest on J Street being one of your favorite restaurants. On Sundays, there's this Schenectady Green Market. Is that a place you could go?
Yes, I've been there. I wouldn't say I frequent it, but I've been there often. Fresh fruit. I love fresh fruit, vegetables. I love, there's days where they have that, and then they have the Greek Fest, the Caribbean Fest, the Italian Fest. I love being in the community. I love doing those type of things, going to celebrations. I like the Green Market. I don't go often, or like I said, I don't frequent it, but I go plenty.
So like being around town as well as around the schools, like stuff you like to just be out and about.
Yeah, this is our community. Absolutely. I live here, so this is where unless I'm going to visit my mom, this is where I go.
So while you're inside, because you can't be outside forever, is there a favorite TV show you like to watch? Is there a show you're watching?
Oh man, I'm kind of old school, so I watch a lot of repeated shows. Like I just got done, rewatching Entourage. I've rewatched The Sopranos many a times. Deadwood is one of my favorite old school cowboy remake from HBO. But I usually watch shows like mindless shows because most of the time I'm home working. So I have my laptop on. It's something that I don't necessarily have to pay attention to, like Love Is Blind, or what I really enjoy right now is Love on the Spectrum, which is super cool. It's super interesting. It brings me into a different world.
Huh. Are there any movies? Like, what's the last movie you watched in theaters?
I haven't been to the theater probably since before COVID, which is crazy because I grew up like, you know, they had the $1.99 movies at Northway Mall on Sundays. I would go to that. Like, I'm a big avid for when it comes to movies. I love movies. I watch movies over and over again. So to say what's my favorite, I would have to sit here and tell, here's my top favorite in comedy, here's my top favorite in action. So it's an array of things, from Casino, Scarface, to 50 First Dates, to American Gangster, to Brothers, to, I mean, it's all over the place.
So, and you can't recall the last movie you might have seen in theaters before COVID?
That's a really good question.
Because
I can't. I can't because it's been so long, and then when they release a movie, now it's on Netflix and or Amazon. So I can't recall the last movie I was at. And you know what? It might have been Black Panther.
Black Panther?
It might have been Black Panther. Because we rented out the studios. We rented out Bowtie. A bunch of us, myself, the school district, Will Revis from the Cocoa House, rented out Bowtie and took a bunch of kids there. So that's probably the latest movie that I remember being in the theater for.
Wow, Black Panther feels like forever ago.
Did you just wow me? Yeah, maybe it was Black Panther 2. Maybe it was 2.
Maybe. But segueing more closer towards school-related stuff, where did you go to high school?
Albany High School.
Albany High
School.
And obviously Albany High is a lot different now. Schenectady High School is a lot different from what it used to be. But being at Albany High School, how was that just like, I suppose, made you the principal you are, and like how you operate things in the school, like how things were in Albany High back?
Sure. So I got to be honest with you. I don't think it's that different. Different generations, different teachers, but it's not that different whether that's good or bad, right? Because things should evolve with time. I don't know what shaped me as a principal now is a culmination of a ton of things, right? Growing up, some trauma, some role models that I had. I didn't go through high school saying I'm going to be a school principal. And prior to being a school principal, I was a school counselor. I never, that wasn't even in my wheelhouse of thinking, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I was told you may not go to college, you may not be college material, you should go to technical school. And this is at a time, like right now, we're pushing technical school because you make a lot of money, electricians, construction workers, like that is where it's at right now. What I was being told was I'm not college material at high school, right? So maybe college isn't what's in the works for you. So I took electrical construction repair classes. I thought about getting into law enforcement, being a lawyer. So I didn't know until I went to college. Basketball drove me. Basketball is why I am where I am today, because that opened doors for me. Graduating from high school opened doors. Basketball gave me a path to college because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So in college, I took criminal justice and juvenile justice. So in that juvenile justice class, I started learning about students, or about young people, not students, about young people. And when I graduated college, prior to graduating, I would work basketball camps. And I would work other summer camps where I would work with young people at summer camps and just have fun all summer. And I liked it. I mean, I had a great time. It kept me youthful. I was young at that time, right? So when I graduated college, one of my juvenile justice professors said, hey, when you graduate, you have a job at Berkshire Farm Center of Service for Youth. You work well with kids. I can see that you got that factor. I graduated college, worked at a place called Schweier Shelter with Project Strive. It was a shelter for homeless young people that were homeless at a young age. So I worked that. I would do overnights. I would bring them to wherever they need to go during the day. Actually, Miss Ellen Tremblay, one of our social workers, when I was right around age 25, she was a social worker there. That's how I first met her. So here she is retiring this year, and I met her that long ago. So I started there, but I wanted a better schedule. I was working overnights. I wanted to go back to school. So I called up this professor and he goes, come in for an interview. And then I started working at Berkshire Farm Center of Service for Youth here in Schenectady. So I started as a respite worker where I would take kids. Families would call and say, hey, my son or daughter needs a break. I heard you got respite programs, and they would go to other houses like on a farm and learn about farm stuff. So I started doing that, transporting kids, talking with them in the car, what's life like, and I started to really learn about trauma. Even though I had my own trauma, I started to experience, like, I'm not the only one that has experienced this stuff. There are others out there like me. There's a younger generation out there, and it's when I started to realize I need to be a role model. I skipped through a bunch of stuff, right? I lived in Miami. I worked in foster care down in Miami. I actually worked in a foster care program where I met Rosie O'Donnell. So when I moved to Miami, again, I started working with children again down there in foster care, which was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done because of the sadness, right? Mm-hmm. The sadness of those experiences for young people. Before I fast forward, I came back from Miami, went back to Berkshire Farm, and a friend of mine was like, you should be a school counselor. Got my master's in school counseling while I was working at Mount Pleasant as a truancy prevention worker. So through Berkshire Farm, I wrote a proposal for a truancy prevention program. So I worked at Berkshire Farm at Mount Pleasant back in 2000, I'm gonna say 2001, so that's gonna date me, 24 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I did that for a couple years while I was getting my school counseling degree, and then interviewed a school counseling job at Mount Pleasant and got into alternative to suspension. So my goal was to prevent students from getting into the system, because I knew, before we started saying school to prison pipeline, I knew that it starts there, because I knew what was gonna happen to me if I didn't graduate high school. So let me start there. And then, after years of doing that, working at Washington Urban, alternative programming, I became a principal. While I was doing that, I became an assistant director. And then, as you know, your freshman year, I came over here and met all you wonderful young people. And I have a greater outreach now. Although, as you said in the beginning, very busy, but I always find time for you guys. I always try to. I will put aside any adult work that I have to do if it means having a conversation, even something like this.
Which I appreciate immensely, but you're really helping a lot of people out.
I appreciate that because sometimes I don't always feel that. This is not easy. And sometimes I always see the bad things, and for you to say that gave me chills because those are the things that keep me going, right? Those are the things that I just need a little bit of that to say, yeah, I got this, I can do this, right? Because there's a lot of this, and sometimes when you guys write a little note, give me a little card, you know, you see I post stuff up here, and those are the things that keep me going. So I appreciate that, bro.
The bell did ring in real time at like the 3:30 bell, and I did have a few more questions, so we're gonna not rush through things, but we're gonna try and.
I got time if you got time. I got a little bit of extra.
That's perfect for both of us then. Sweet.
Here we go.
All right, here's a fun one. How many emails do you get a day?
It depends on the day. Anywhere from right now, I'm looking at about 745 unanswered emails, probably starting from Monday.
From both students and teachers?
From students, teachers, superintendents, other people outside the district. But again, I have it filtered, so I try to answer the important ones. I got a box for students because I want to get to them quickly. I got a box, obviously, for the superintendent and my bosses, right? I got a box for teachers. I try to manage it as much as possible, but the day's busy. So, like, if it's an emergency, people have my number. They can text me, they can call me, they can radio me. But I try to get to that, and that's why I'm here until 7, 8 at night. I'm here 12, 13 hours a day, because when this dies down, then I can get to my emails, and on Sundays I usually work. So I really get one day off on a Saturday.
Wow, you are a busy, busy guy. Now, out of all the schedules we've had at Safety High School within your principality, we'll call it that, because we've had block schedules, like half block schedules, something similar the year after, and now we're back to the usual 8 periods a day.
Yeah.
Which schedule do you feel like was the best? Because it's different for a lot of classes, like band classes, obviously prefer an hour and a half, but you know some classes are better 45. So what do you think is the best schedule we've had?
That's a good question, because I've struggled with those decisions on what is the best schedule. Because the arts and project-based learning needs more time, right? Sometimes more time doesn't mean better outcomes. So I have to look at the data. I've had folks come in that are professional or mastery schedulers, you know, and they give me input. I have the team here. I look to teachers' input. You know, I've always looked to student input. And even when I look to teacher and student input, it's a 50-50 split. You know, some students love the block schedule. Some students love the straight 8. There's one that we did that had a mix of both, right? So some were 44 minutes and some were blocked. This is just a large building, as you know.
Yeah.
I try to limit the transitions. I try to understand like what classes need longer and what need shorter. So I don't know that I have a favorite. My favorite is what's gonna work best when it comes to student success. What is that medium point? I would love in the future to create 60-minute classes. But then I gotta work through contractual issues and the length of day, and then the state says you need this many hours. So there's a lot that goes into that, but I think 60 minutes might be the sweet spot. Not too long, it's like the Goldilocks. Not too hot, not too cold.
Just right.
Right, there you go.
Do you think that's possible to get implemented, like in the foreseeable future, with everything going on?
Yeah. We gotta get through this construction phase. As you know, this is huge, and it starts this summer. Right, this whole middle D is going to be knocked down and closed off, but we're also opening Freshman Academy come September.
So the school's going to have less people.
We're just going to have 450 to 500 less, maybe 600 less students.
Wow.
So we're able to close this middle D part down and the main office, right, we're building a better school. And ultimately, in my last few years here, we're gonna have a brand new school, and our students deserve that. They deserve to walk into a fresh setting. They deserve to see it all, right? When I look at some of our suburban schools and the way it looks, like it's like, why can't we have that? And through our superintendent now, we're about to have that. and I'm super excited. But you know, with that change comes, you know, I don't want to say complaints, but struggles and worries and what about this and where are these people going to go? I think one of the concerns is, you know, what happens to this room, and I think it's our media room right down in FA. Like, what's going to happen to that? Right now, that's got to be offline for at least 1 year because I got to be able to move staff in there. We only have so many rooms. I got to make sure teachers have. My first goal was to make sure teachers have classrooms and students have classrooms. My second was to make sure everybody has an office to go to. Mr. Goyette and myself were the last ones to say we'll take this office. Mr. Goyette's in the closet. We actually made a closet office. I'm in a small office. Ann is in a room. Miss Osborne's in a room as the secretary, sharing it with 2 other people. So everyone is really coming together and collaborating and you know, putting their best forward and saying, like, this is for 1 year, we will deal with it. And then the next phases of the construction are a little bit smaller and not as intrusive as this first big one. But I'm super excited, man. I'm seeing the plans. I can't wait to share it with everyone. And I know in your situation, it's like, well, I'm graduating, right? Which that's always gonna happen in life. Like, I left college, they built a new gym, and I'm like, what? Like, you built a new gym and I can't play there now? So it happens in life, but we got to think about our future and the future, those that come after you, right? Because in 5 years when this is done, you're what, 22, right? You can come back and say, wow, this completely looks different from when I was there.
So on that about like me not being here, I don't have to worry about this, but the younger generation, they're gonna get these Yonder pouches. Now, this is a statewide implementation.
It's a state law now, went into law.
Now,
necessarily Yonder pouches, but no cell phones from bell to bell. And the state has really given school districts the parameters of like, how are you gonna do that? But it's very clear, no cell phones from bell to bell. I've visited I visited other schools to see how it works. What's my number one thing to do? Speak to other young people, right? Because adults have their voice, their opinion. Students are the ones that are gonna have to deal with it as well, and families. So what are others saying? We're not the first to do it. So I went to Newburgh, right? Very identical to who we are, because I wanted to make sure, we wanted to make sure we chose a place that looks like us and that can relate to us, and then I can get information from young people that go through some things we go through. So my first encounter with a whole entire classroom, and I swear to you, in this moment, I still thought I was at Schenectady High, because I looked out and I couldn't tell the difference whether they're our students or Newburgh students, which I love. So my first question with a student was, the whole classroom was like, I know, and I asked the principal, I said, can you step out so I can get an honest opinion? And I said, listen, the principal's not in here. Talk to me about this. How is this going? And right away, two vocal students were like, listen, they said some identical things. We didn't like it at first, but even in my hardest classes, I'm more focused and I'm doing better. The one student said we have less drama and we have less fights, and I don't have to stress that anymore. And they admitted, they said, listen, do we still use the cell phones after school, and is there still drama there? They said yes, but we don't have to worry about it. It's not instant drama. Like, I'm not constantly looking at it and stressing it and hearing somebody say, meet me in the bathroom to fight. Do that anymore. Right then and there, that hit me and said, if they feel that way, I can only imagine how our students are gonna feel. And I've had students say it to me, like, it's a problem here, right? So I was always on the fence of it, because I don't want to take a learning tool, because it could be a learning tool, but right now we don't use it as that. We use it more as social media, we use it more as drama, and if we could take that away and our young people could be more successful in school and in the future, then I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it. And I have to, because it's a law now, right? But
yeah, you have to.
We have to. And I think we're seeing that all over, not just in New York State, but other states are doing it as well.
Now, something else that gets enforced, but I believe can be enforced harder, is how do we prevent students from doing stuff like vapes and weed pens?
Yeah. That's a great question, man. And I gotta tell you, some of it starts at home, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts at home, and how is it discussed at home? But I also recognize while it starts at home, young people will always find a way. I found a way to do things that I shouldn't be doing at your age, right? So the weapons detection system we're playing with a little bit because we can turn it up, we can turn it down. Weapons detection detects the amount of metal in something, right? To a very small amount. But when you're talking about vape pens, some of them are really small. Some of them are all plastic, right? So we have to play the best we can. I don't want to search every student in the sense of patting students down. We gotta have some trust. We gotta have some belief that young people are gonna make the right choices. We have to do better. Sometimes we say it's the entire school, but it's not the entire school. It's a small percentage, right? Mm-hmm. So sometimes you always hear that old school saying, one apple spoils the bunch or something like that, right? Something like that, yeah. I mean, it's that old, I don't even remember it. I don't want that to happen. And a young person last night at the board meeting said, you know, he would like something done more about it too. Like vape detection in the bathrooms, right? So
like a smoke alarm?
Like a smoke alarm, but it's for vape detection. So what does Mr. Green do? I've been calling schools, investigating what's out there. You good?
We're good.
All right, I've been calling schools. What's out there? What are other schools doing? Some schools have them and say, Mr. Green, they don't work well. Because the alarm will go off by the time we get there, the students left, then I gotta watch a video. And if I got 4 kids, do I assume all 4 kids in there were vaping? And then I gotta search them, which sometimes it's hard for me to do. Because here I got a kid saying, Mr. Green, I was just in here, I'm not saying anything, but I didn't do anything, but now I gotta search them. So now I gotta, because it's not violating their rights. I have a right to do that, but I'm also mindful of how people feel because I feel weird about it. Mm-hmm. But I also want to keep a safe school, and I don't mean safe as far as weapons and fighting. Safety, health safety. The best message to young people, I'm gonna say it to them right now. Stop vaping. That's destroying your lungs. Stop smoking, stop vaping. It's bad for you. Like, I've known it since I was a kid. Now, I can't sit here and say as a young person I didn't try things, but the information's out there. It's not good for you. What I hear is like, oh, it calms you down. No, man. But think about cigarettes. Cigarettes been around forever. And we know cigarettes cause cancer. We know cigarettes kill you. Mm-hmm. Heart disease. Adults and young people still smoke cigarettes. So it's not just a school issue. It's a community issue. It's a world issue. It's an issue across the board. It's not just our issue. But how can we make things better is the question, right? And I'm working on that.
But you think the on back on the subject of metal detectors, you feel like the metal detectors are doing their job and is a overall pretty good change?
The different metal detectors are old school things, the big things that like you go into a courthouse.
Oh, so the whole system is weapons detection.
It's called weapons detection, right? So I do, because we're one, people are saying, oh, I better not bring it in because I'm gonna have a consequence and they're gonna find it. 2, if they do test it, we do find it, which then I have to suspend students, which I hate doing also because I know suspensions cause students to fail. But again, at home, talk to your young people, talk to your children. Don't be bringing weapons. And it's hard because it's like, well, my kid has to walk to school. It's dangerous sometimes in the community. Sometimes you leave here, it's nighttime. My young lady is dangerous, they gotta bring pepper spray. I want them to have this weapon. My only concern, not my only concern, but my major concern is, if you need to use that weapon, are you really ready to hurt someone? Because New York State self-defense is very, very strict. Like, you hurt somebody and kill somebody with a weapon you have, you gotta be ready for that consequence. Whether it's a legal consequence or something that you have to live with the rest of your life, right? So it's hard, but I know that if we're all bringing weapons to school, none of us are safe. So I believe in the weapons detection system. I think it's rolled out smoothly. I don't hear a lot of complaints from our young people about it's like prisons, because I think it's more like an airport. And we all have to experience that at some point. I fly, and I love that I'm safer on a plane. I lived through 9/11. Not necessarily, not
yeah, I
lived through it, but that's my era. And it was the most stressful time. That's when I lived in Miami. I came home, I left Miami because of 9/11, because I was uncertain about the future. So I came home because I didn't want to fly anymore. So I still struggle with that, right? So I don't want that trauma here in school, but my point, same with vaping, it's a community issue. And when I say community, that includes us and the community. The city, the country, we have to do something better about it.
All right. To lighten up the mood,
yes,
we have, would you shave your beard for a school event? Like tape
Absolutely.
by the principal, like whole thing going?
100%. I've offered to shave my head for a school event.
Oh.
That's how much I care. If it inspires you guys to have a good time, I'll do just about anything.
We got to get that done. We got to get Mr. Green to shave then. All right. Now, another thing about students having fun. What are your thoughts on senior pranks? Because they could get a little crazy. Baby oil on the floor.
Unacceptable. Baby oil.
But like,
I'm okay with student pranks. Most of the time in the past years, seniors have come to me and said, "Hey, here's a thing. Here's a bunch of things that we're thinking about. What's unacceptable?" This way, a prank is supposed to be not known, but I appreciate that collaboration, right? Because then it comes into play that I have to suspend people and say, now you can't walk the stage. I don't ever want to do that. It's all about safety. One year they wanted to go into the pool and everybody jump in the pool. And I looked at the senior president and I said, what if somebody slips, falls, hit their heads, or drowns? I can't live with that. You? They understood that, right? For me, it's not just about saying no. It's about saying, hey, let's talk this through and we'll come to that agreement as to why it's probably not the best thing. Baby oil on the floor, same thing. You slip and fall, break your leg, crack your head open, fall, hit your head, die, paralyzed. Just way too many issues, right? So the last year prank was kind of cool. I walk into the hallway and the kids decorated the entire hallway with my big head and then big heads of every administrator. So that was pretty funny, right? Pranks are funny. I've seen other things happen. It's just about safety. Like, think through what you're going to do and is it safe or not? If you don't know, ask another adult. If you don't want me to know about it, and an adult will tell you the same thing. Be safe. I don't want anyone to get hurt, and I don't want to have to put consequences in that prevents someone from going to prom. So be safe about it. I like senior pranks. It's a part of history.
Yeah.
It's fun. Just be safe about it.
What is something you tell each grade moving on to the next?
Each grade moving on to the next, you're running out of time, right? Freshman year, Mr. Wyman said it, I said it, thrive in 9. Most important time of your high school career is ensuring that you get 5 or more credits. We'd love you to get, if every student left Freshman Academy with 8 credits, you are on track to graduate and your success rate shoots up. The less credits you get freshman year, the less chances you're going to have to graduate. Now, in 10th grade, same thing. You have more options to take some things you choose, but it's important that you get your Regents classes out of the way, study for your Regents, attend class every day. 11th grade, same thing, but it's less about those core academics and more about some electives that you want to take. Getting into some things that you want to do as an adult. So each class is the same thing. Stay focused, get your bus to school every single day, be here, be in class, be engaged. You already know how I feel about that. So that is the most important thing that I can say from grade to grade.
Now, another one, this one's a little deeper, but it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
What's it like seeing your first class, the class of 2025, graduate this year?
It's the second time someone had this question. I love it. I love it. It's been one of my most memorable classes because I came here in a contentious situation, right? You guys went from block schedule. People thought I made that change, but I was brought over here, and like everyone else, change was hard for me. I spent 15 years at Washington Urban, and I had to come over here with not a lot of time to have that closure. And I came to a building where I knew people. I knew teachers, I knew administrators, I knew some students, but coming here was tough. The change was hard. I was missing my family at Washington Urban, and now I'm a part of a new family, but it's my first day, first week. You know, we had some walkouts. Kids were looking at me as being that one that made these changes, which is okay, right? I agree with the changes. But then I had a group of freshmen come into my room and said, Mr. Green, there are some kids that don't like you, but they don't know you, and we want to give you a chance. And right then and there, I looked at, there was about 4 of them, and I said, I appreciate you guys. And I knew I was going to be okay as the building principal because I knew how smart you guys were. And I knew what I was up against. Smart, visionaries, have a voice, and it's been great since then. I've had a great time. I think young people know that I'm serious about education. I'm serious about being in class, but they also know that I will listen to any single one of them at any moment. So it is a special class to me, and I can't wait for graduation because I'll share some of that at graduation, but it is a special moment for me. I can't say it's my favorite.
Yeah.
They're all my favorite. Every class, I'm gonna say the same thing. There's groups of kids that I always remember. I mean, I got pictures hanging up dating back to 2000, right? So I'll always have that special relationship with each class.
Now, speaking of each class, we're going to go through these pretty quickly because, believe it or not, there's a lot of students that had a lot of questions for each
You
other.
heard my phone.
Yeah, so we don't have a lot of time. So,
Yo, Mr. Green, it's your boy Preco, man. I'm a senior at Schenectady High School right now. One question I had to you would be, where you see Schenectady High School in the upcoming years, man? Like, just, rebranding this, you think you probably, change how it looks or something? I don't know. I'm about to be out of here, so, that's for you to answer. Let me know.
Growing, changing, evolving, all those words. I mean, like I said before, we're going through not only programmatic changes, we're going through building structure changes. So, as you know, the building is being redone, completely gutted and rebuilt. It's going to be beautiful. We're expanding our city as our campus opportunities, which gives students different options, different opportunities, different learning experiences. So I really see us being on the forefront of changing education, and I want to change the traditional box that we live in. And I'm super excited at the vision of our superintendent, Dr. Cotto, around creating this whole city as our campus and students experiencing different pathways and different avenues and getting on-the-job training type experience. So I'm super excited for that.
Hi, Mr. Green. It's a Proctor's Kids, and
we're wondering if you were going to add any more funding to the Proctor's program
to help expand. Yeah. Yes, because this is a new program and we throw so many good shows, so expand. Thank you.
Do I plan to? So, not solely my decision, but yeah. So as we get bigger, as we are able to offer more, Proctor's is in our site. We have Proctor's. We have SCCC. We have our city campus. We have our big picture. So yeah, as our population grows and we have more opportunities, we are going to have to expand. Can I say guaranteed? No, but we are going to look to that.
My name is Santana Williams. I'm in 12th grade. And Mr. Green, I want to ask you why you be on our ass. Like, you always coming out, you always yelling, and I don't even be doing nothing, but you always got something to say to me. So that's what I want to ask you. Hello.
Well, I'm always yelling on your butts. Because I care. And I have a loud voice, so is it yelling or is it just me being loud? I don't want you to take it as me yelling. Those of you that truly know me know how much I care about you, and I want to ensure that you understand the urgency of every single day being the best you can be, which means being present here in school and then being present in every single class. It is extremely important. We only have 180 days. I share that every year. I break it down to you. Some months have 19 days, some have 20, some have 14. There's not a lot of time that we're in school, so I need you to understand the urgency of how important education is. All right, and that's not me speaking from a book. That's speaking from experience, and not just my life, the lives of the students I've worked with, the lives of my good friends who have come from across this country and across the globe, right? I have friends that have lived in other countries that don't have those opportunities, that didn't have the opportunities as a kid as much as we have them. And I think sometimes we don't respect that, we take advantage of it, and we don't understand that urgency. So my excitement, my loud voice in the hallways is my urgency and care that I need you all to understand how important this is in your life, right? I'm 15, 20, 25 years, I hopeful out before I'm no longer here. What is it that you're gonna do? And I always say to you, I need a doctor, I need a nurse, I'll need a lawyer, I'll need an accountant, and that's you. You are the future, and I need to ensure our future is gold, and that's you. And that's why I'm so passionate about what I do.
I'm Jimmy Brown, and I'm in 10th grade. And where do you get your suits from, Mr. Green?
My name's Anna. I'm in 10th grade, and my question is, what's your favorite color on Sunday?
My favorite color, not the color of my suit, right? Just my favorite color in general. My favorite color is green. Weird, right? Ironic or coincident, not ironic. Maybe it is ironic. I get my suits wherever they have big and tall. So right now it's Macy's. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Mr. Green shops deals. So I'm not about spending wasteful money, although when I buy my Jordans, I think that's a little bit too much. But I usually go to Macy's and or, Men's Warehouse was a big spot for me. And that's really it. But mostly all Macy's, only because they have a good big and tall selection.
Unfortunately, my iPhone died, so we're going to do this a little differently. But Mr. Green, it's been a pleasure interviewing and going to St. High School.
All right,
thank you for your time.
Man. Yeah, where do you get your suits, by the way? Because that's fresh right there. I don't have that suit. Look at that.
I got
that's custom made.
Boscov's.
Boscov's?
Yep,
I like that.
Colony Center.
That's super fresh. Definitely, you got a better inline than me, but I love that color. You look fresh, and I appreciate this. This young man's going someplace, man. It's been a great 4 years. I appreciate everything you've done, and I expect to see big things from you afterwards. All right, good stuff.
Thank you,
Always
man.
stay fresh.
Stay fresh.
All right.
Interview Mr. Green. Who would have thought? That's definitely a good way to end this series, and I'm glad we're ending it on that note. A bunch of interviews, and I culminated with literally the boss of the building, basically. If I could have done more of these, I would have, and I would have started sooner, but I'm glad about how things turned out. Honestly, going to Schenectady High School has been a pretty fun roller coaster, and I'd do it again if I could, but I also don't want to stay back. So I'm just going to have to go to college like everybody else. More like some people. Sorry for the change in appearance, by the way. I'm wearing my tracksuit for the last day of school, which is actually when I'm filming this, so when this gets up, hopefully it's at least by the end of the day, but we'll see. But with that being said, I have to get into school. I mean, it's the last day. I can't miss it, right? So, hope everyone's enjoyed watching these Patriot programs and has taken a thing out of two of them. I hope the underclassmen really have to hear what the upperclassmen who are graduating this year have to say. I would say join a sport, join a club, make sure you have fun, but don't skip. And with that being said, it's been Aronzo from the Aronzo Network doing the Patriot program, and go Patriots.